how's it going so far? Yeah, you're getting the idea. You think you could do this? You see how you could do it? You see how you could use it? Anything to ask before we start in on the afternoon? Anything you'd like me to be aware of as we move along? Just let me know. Let me know. Don't be shy. Anything? No, okay. Anything you'd like me to give you this afternoon? To think about and give you? It's okay just flowing with it and seeing how it goes? Okay. I thought this afternoon we would do a spectrogram. Many of you will know it, but those of you who don't, it's one of the most user-friendly techniques in sociometry. And maybe some letter writing. You all do letter writing, but I think if we tried some letter writing and making it experiential letter writing, the idea of what you're seeing me demonstrate today and tomorrow are incremental, small vignettes, small psychodramas, where that fits in as part of the sociometric model, but it requires less psychodrama training. Where you need a lot of psychodrama training and experience is when you start to mount these large psychodramas. Then they can really get loose and out of control, and then you can that's where you start to make mistakes, I would say. And even with a lot of training, that's not an assurance that it'll be trauma-informed. So that's why the model uses just these small bits of psychodrama. But level 2 is about more psychodrama. It's using the social atom sculpturing and psychodrama. And it requires more psychodrama training. But level 1 is really all about this level, what you can do so that when you walk out of here, you could feel comfortable doing this. This is don't you think this is pretty easy to do? I mean, can you pretty easily see yourselves doing it? Yes, no? This is very straightforward. It's easy. And it doesn't require the level of skill in psychodrama training that it does when you start to do these larger dramas. Yes? Where's that other mic? Oh, there it is. Okay.
I do a lot of training for NASW continuing education in Missouri, and one of the things that all of the people that attend those workshops is their big need is, I want to know something that will enhance, whether it's cognitive behavior therapy or whatever it is, to really help people move on when they get stuck. And just using some of those things that you have in the books, they're like so excited about it, because it's like all of a sudden it's, oh my gosh, I know how I'm going to use that, and just giving them just one little piece and working with that is so powerful.
This model is designed for a series of safe triggers so that when you get triggered, you have some understanding of what's happening and you can feel it, slow it down so you can actually feel it and convert it into language and observe. It's being mindful. Mindfulness is a big part of trauma healing. And this model teaches that kind of mindfulness because you over and over and over again feel something, translate it into words, reflect on it, share it, listen as other people do, group off with like-minded people, connect. The healing is built into the model. More training in psychodrama is not necessarily the key to doing good trauma work. It's understanding the dynamics of trauma, understanding what you're looking at when you look at it, and understanding the re-embodying. We saw it this morning, what is going on in your body. If your body could talk, what would it say? If that shiver had a voice, what would it say? If this part with the flutter, what would it say? This morning we had a protagonist who could just put words on it herself. But what does that flutter mean? It means relief. Over time, I've come to I feel it in my own body, which I did several times. And that's what I was doing. I was saying, I'm feeling this in my body. Are you experiencing that? That's just because I feel it so clearly, and I have for so many times. that I trust it. So I don't mind asking, because I'm usually getting what the protagonist is experiencing in the double role. It gives me more information. Any other questions about trauma before we move on? About what you're seeing here and how it heals trauma, how this work does heal it? No? Okay, so do you want to do, later on, I'm wondering if you wouldn't mind doing the myths of forgiveness on paper. They're in here, the myths. Just,
Yes.
just writing the myths of forgiveness onto some blank papers. And they're in here. So I hear, what I'm thinking basically is a spectrogram, maybe some vignettes coming out of the spectrogram. I'm trying to stay away from large psychodrama because I don't want to give the impression that that level 1 includes large psychodrama. If you want to see a little more psychodrama, I'm happy to do it. Or is this working for you, just these role plays? What I like to think of them as is like neuropsychodrama, surgical role plays. I mean, if you put it out on a timeline, what you're doing is finding just that moment that needs addressing and doing a small play around that moment. And you find another moment that needs addressing and doing a small role play around that moment. And then you're also reconnecting the split off self inside, not just the split off relational outside, but the split between the inner being and the mature being. And as many reconnections as you can make along the way for people, that's very valuable to develop the habit for your clients of looking to their adult self first when they get triggered so that they don't act out from the child self. So that you see that all these exercises have many goals, and they're simple to do, and it's really not necessary to do the big, large drama. So, okay. So a spectrogram. This is a sociometric device, and it's one of the most user-friendly parts of sociometry. That it's a no-miss technique, and it goes everywhere. I've done this in school systems, in boardrooms, and this is something that really, in business, you can do this technique all over the place, and you can just make your criterion questions appropriate for the group you're operating with. All of these techniques are just techniques. It's the criterion questions that make them appropriate for the group you're with. We're doing trauma resolution, so we're using trauma-related criterion questions. In the spectrogram today, we'll be doing grief, so we'll do grief-related criterion questions. But if you were to do, how comfortable are you being on this board? How good do you feel about the work of the board? There are all kinds of criterion questions you can ask and get a quick answer to and get the group up on their feet. We're going to do grief right now because grief is so much a part of trauma resolution. If there's no grief happening, something's missing from when you have been numb, you've numbed out feelings for a good reason. You've numbed them out because they hurt and you don't dare feel them. So when you start to feel them, they're going to hurt again. And there's going to be a grieving process and an anger process. You return helplessness, collapsing into helplessness and rage is a big piece of being traumatized, collapsing into helplessness and rage. So when we uncollapse people, we're going to activate their feelings of helplessness and their feelings of rage. So we need vehicles that can handle that, keep the room comfortable enough so this stuff can surface. So spectrogram is, this side of the room represents very much, 100%. That side's very little, or 0%. This is going to be about 50%. I use these percents because I find them easiest. Other people use other things at the ends, but I use the percents because it's like a graph on the floor. And I'm making these criterion questions from the research on grief, and I'm assuming that you're a group that's dealing with, early recovery issues or whatever, and that's working through trauma issues. So I would start by saying, how much do you feel, let's see, No, let's just go with the grief criterion. How much sadness do you still feel around this issue, this loss, this whatever? Now, the loss might be giving up the substance. The loss might be anything anybody names. And if you want to kind of give yourself a moment to come up with some kind of loss you might want to work with, we've all got them. And it's a chance to do a little more work with a loss. Who doesn't have a little more work with a loss? The loss of a stage of life, the loss of a partner, the loss of children going off and living their own lives. There's just a zillion. Loss is part of life. And that one's easier to normalize because everybody knows that. How much, how little sadness are you still feeling around this loss? Here's 100%. I'm feeling 100% sad. I'm feeling 50% sad, or I'm feeling 0% sad. Come on up. Okay, so a sentence about why you're standing where you're standing. And do we have the mic somewhere floating around? Okay. Okay, so when you come to say my loss is this and I'm standing here because. Okay, who's warmed up? You'll just take that and take it to who's ever warmed up. Okay, and then pass it along with the group.
Okay.
Hey, I'm Monty, and my loss is I'm an empty nester as of August, and I'm sad about missing my daughter, but I'm also thrilled about her, spreading her wings and growing, and also figuring out this next chapter of my life. But I also have a lot of sadness and grief, and I don't know what it's all about.
Did your daughter go to college, Monty?
Yes, she did. Yeah.
Okay, next.
So I'm at 65, and my daughter is a senior in high school. So I'm already feeling her going.
I'm at like 70. My loss is, my mom is still alive, but she's not very available. And so I miss the mom that I remember.
My loss is about between 70 and 80%, and my loss is about a cutoff in our family, and me being here in New York, and I have a niece here that we're estranged, and it's really triggered and painful being here and not being able to be with her like I used to be when I would come to New York.
I'm 80%, and my father died this month a couple of years ago, and I just feeling it. I didn't really, just feeling missing him, because it was very hard work at the time, and I'm just missing him today. So.
I'm at about 80%. A lot of loss in my life right now with having lost my career, fiance, and just a lifestyle pattern that I'm moving out of. That it's time to leave.
I'm at a 90-ish%. I lost my father 5 months ago, so that's what I'm grieving.
I'm at, 90%. I lost my best friend 2 months ago, and when something just makes me feel sad, I just go way to the bottom of missing her, no matter what it is.
I guess I'm about there too. Mine's a little different loss, but I'm still grieving the loss of my youth and my age, and I had a lot of great things happen with my husband since we were young, and I just feel like I've lost a lot of my youth, and I don't like that, and I don't know how to deal with it.
I'm at a 50% loss. I'm grieving the loss of my relationship with food. I just 7 weeks post-op from bariatric surgery, and so on one side, it's the grief of what that was like before. There's also pain with that. So on the other side, it's the excitement about creating this new lifestyle and being healthy and having a new relationship with food.
Because that's different from a person, would you like to do a vignette with the
I'm shaking right now.
Yeah, so that's always a good sign.
Oh.
Would you like to do a little vignette with just food?
Sure.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay. Now feel free to stand, if you have the endurance to stand around, feel free. If you need to sit down and we'll come back up to the spectrogram, feel free. But look around the room and see who could play food. It doesn't have to be a person as we work.
Okay. Any foodies out there? Absolutely. Okay. Here's someone.
Okay. So what do you want to say to food?
That I don't need you in the same way that I needed you before.
Can you all hear her? No. Okay.
I don't need you in the same way that I needed you before.
Reverse roles.
I don't need you in the same way that I needed before.
So you're just going to forget about me?
Keep going. Doing a great job.
What happens when you need me again?
Reverse roles.
What happens when you need me again?
I'm going to go to other things that can take care of me instead of hurting me. Because I deserve more.
Like?
Like my healthy relationships with people. Like myself. Exercising. Sitting down and connecting with my children instead of hiding.
So there was a lot of shaking going on, and now it's kind of quieted, right? Is that my? It's coming back a little bit?
A little bit.
What part of your body are you experiencing the worst?
My stomach.
In your stomach. So if your stomach could talk, what would it say?
Where did the 2/3 of you go? 2/3 of my stomach was removed, so.
So as long as we're here, who could play your stomach?
Anyone want to play a stomach?
This is a somatodrama. It's good.
Would you like to play my stomach?
Okay. What do you want to say to your stomach?
Where did you go?
Reverse roles.
Where did you go?
You have what you need now.
A little closer to
You have what you need now. This size stomach is what you need.
So I am the size that you need now.
I am the size that you need now. I'm more than enough to sustain you and take care of you and keep you well.
Reverse roles.
I am the size that you need now. I am more than enough to sustain you and take care of you and keep you well.
but what will I do now? How do I go on, and how do I do it with just 1/3 of you? It sounds so silly.
No, there's nothing silly about it at all, but see if you can stand behind yourself and double for I get so shaky when I think of those moments.
I get so frustrated when I think of what I allowed my stomach to do, or the decisions I made about food to self-medicate or take care of me.
What I allowed you to do.
What I allowed you to do to me.
I feel like I really abused you. Is that what you're saying?
I didn't take care of you when I should have.
Tell her more.
I should have taken care of you. I should have slowed down to take care of every other part of you, around you, other organs and systems and emotions. I wish I had listened to what the needs were instead of just self-medicating and hurting you.
Let's reverse roles and find out what some of those needs were. Last line.
I wish I'd taken care of you instead of self-medicating.
And listen to some of your needs.
And listen to some of your needs.
I needed to be heard. I needed to be validated. I needed to be comforted and told it was going to be okay. When I was frightened, I needed someone to hold me.
Keep going.
I needed to know that I didn't do anything wrong.
I'm going to take a leap here. I was tight, I was tense, I was anxious, and food held me. Food comforted me. Food quieted it. Correct that if it's...
That's right.
Okay, put it in your own words.
Food allowed me to feel comforted. It allowed me to feel safe, a place I knew when other things were unknown and uncertain and scary.
And it made the food got these chemicals going in my body. It was a drug. It was dopamine. It was a drug. It smoothed me out. It made this...
It calmed me.
It calmed me. Tell her how. It calmed you.
It calmed me by the dopamine giving me the right chemicals to not have to be overwhelmed with everything going on outside of me that I didn't have control of.
Okay, more clarity. Say another sentence with that clarity.
For me to be able to be in control when I usually feel so powerless or helpless.
Yeah. When that feeling would hit, I knew how to take care of it. I would reach for...
I would reward myself for working so hard and giving myself a favorite food or a full plate, and know that would satiate me physically and emotionally. And that gave me control and comfort.
Control over?
Control over fears, inadequacies, uncertainties, stress, worries.
It was just like booze for me. It was just worked the same way
It
as
was a
any
drug.
other. It was my drug. And now there's only a third of me left. And I can't fit I can't get that out of me anymore. And I'm scared.
I'm very scared.
I'm very scared. What am I going to do when those feelings hit again, when that need to control? When, okay, now there's a lot of energy coming right out here. So can you let that feeling come out and surface and just let the tears flow?
I feel like I don't have my armor anymore. That it's just going away, pound by pound. And I don't have my go-to arsenal to make me feel better. And so what do I do if I'm stressed or worried or overwhelmed? I'm scared I don't know how to handle it.
And so your body, what does your body want to say? Those shaky knees and the tension in the body? A lot of shaking.
That I've let food control me in such a way that I'm losing control in other ways. So emotions and how I cope with things, how I handle things, how I talk to people, how I problem solve.
It made things worse. It made some things better, but it made other things worse.
Yeah. And now where do I go from here?
Reverse roles.
And now, where do I go from here?
I don't know.
So earlier you mentioned exercise, relationships.
Taking care of myself.
So who could play exercise? Who could play healthy
Exercise?
relationships? Okay. Healthy relationships.
Anyone? Healthy relationships?
Any other place you're going to go?
I don't know what I need, so I don't know.
So where do you go when you don't know what you need to help you figure it out?
A support system.
Okay, so who could play what are the parts of your support system?
Mom, husband.
Okay.
I need a mom.
Okay.
I need a husband.
Okay.
Friends.
Okay.
1 and 2.
Okay. How's your body feeling?
Already comforted,
Yeah.
knowing I've got people around me. I'm not alone.
Okay, so what do you want to say to your stomach with this? To the third of your stomach.
You have what you need. And if you feel like you're lost or confused, don't know what's going in you and why you're not getting more, you'll be reminded by these people around you that everything's going to be okay. And take one step, one day at a time, and you're going to be okay.
And one more piece. Can we say goodbye to the 2/3 that went away?
I don't want to ever see you again.
Yeah, that's the third you've got. Who could play the 2/3? That was
2/3. Okay. I'm going to kick you out. I'm sorry.
Gee, before you kick her out, can you talk to her a little? Because she just got sliced off. And the grief is still.
I needed to remove you.
I have a lot of feelings about having needed to remove you. A lot of feelings.
I didn't want to let you go, but I had to.
Again.
I didn't want to let you go, but I had to.
We're going to double. Can other people double? Can other people double for you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
I want to thank you for all that you've saved me all those years.
Say that again.
I want to thank you for really helping me go through some really rough and hard times in my life.
If it fits, use it. If it doesn't, don't worry.
I want to thank you for helping me to get through some really hard times when I was alone.
Tell her.
And being there to help me get through it.
I couldn't come up with another way at that time.
I didn't know any other way.
You were there, and you did comfort me.
So it's hard to say goodbye because you did help me get through.
Say that again.
It's hard to say goodbye because you did help me get through it.
So an honorable goodbye. An honorable goodbye.
Goodbye.
Reverse roles.
It's hard to say goodbye because you really did help me through it.
I was there when you needed me. And I realized that you don't need me in the same way anymore.
Tell her so she can hear.
You don't need me in the same way. And you'll have what you need inside and outside of you. All you need to do is slow down.
Tell her what you mean by that.
Breathe. Check in with yourself. Listen to those around you. Ask for help, even when it's hard to ask. Even when it's hard to show others that you don't have all the answers. That you're not perfect.
Say more about that. I thought I had to be.
I thought I had the answers, and I thought I knew how to help myself. But I saw I only hurt myself when trying to help. And now I don't feel so perfect. And now I feel really infallible.
I really, really got a lot of what I needed by taking care and helping other people. And it did give me a lot of sense of self-esteem. And when I'm not playing that role, I feel at loose ends. Correct this if it's wrong.
It's correct.
It's correct. So when I can't be that for people, and I can't be everything to fix it person, is that correct?
Yes.
When I can't hold other people's problems for them, and I feel, what?
Inadequate.
Inadequate, kind of something in your throat going on in your throat? Can you put words on that? A burning sensation?
Yes. It's hard to say it.
Yeah.
It's hard to acknowledge it.
Acknowledge.
That I have to find another way of functioning other than helping others because it's not helping me. And I have to be able to create a boundary and self-awareness to know what I need.
I have to learn to regulate the amount I help. I actually have a lovely quality. I love to help other people. But I need to look at it when it's starting to use me up and I can't just keep going indefinitely. And that's a delicate line. I'm going to be keeping it every day. Doesn't mean I can't help. Just means I have to regulate. I'm regulating my food now. So I need to regulate my urge to help and my urge to use helping other people as a way of feeling good about me. There are other ways to feel good about me. And people will like me. I'm kind of scared about that. Yeah?
Yes. And I don't know what others will see. I don't know if I'm going to like me.
Say that again.
I don't know if I'm going to like me.
So I let this part of me go. And this is the fear that's going with it. This fear. Will you be liked? Will you be liked if I'm not carrying the load for everybody? I'm scared about that.
I'm scared about letting go.
And I'm scared about being let go of.
And I'm scared about being let go of.
Okay, reverse roll.
And I'm scared about being let go of.
I don't know what purpose you need, but you will find your way as you go forward. And you will find who you're meant to be and all the good parts of you that have come up until now.
Who are you talking to now?
I'm not sure which stomach.
Yeah, this part I think this part is the one, well, let me try something. You're not really just dying or being cut off and flopped into a wastebasket. I'm transforming you into this. I'm letting you go so that, I'm cutting you off so that we can be more whole. But I'm not forgetting you. I'm just letting you go.
I've had to recreate how the stomach should work so that I can take care of myself better.
Again?
I've had to recreate how the stomach works so that I can take care of myself better.
So as you bring in these parts of yourself, and we let this part just be somewhere back there, bring in the new parts closer, the support.
Exercise and friends and mom and husband and the new stomach.
And what do you want to say to the new stomach?
It's you and me. And we're not alone. And we're going to figure out how to do this, even though it's really scary.
And when you get scared, talk to me. Talk to us. We'll get you through this. You don't need to keep feeding yourself to feel okay.
And just listen. When I listen to myself, I'm going to be able to take care of you and the rest of my body and mind and soul better.
Okay. There we go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back up on the spectrogram. Is that okay? You stay in the process? Okay. Yes, you can. Feel free. He deserves it. Okay, this was related to how much sadness do you feel. So this is a warming up process. Now, we're just getting going. No, that did exactly what it should do.
Tian, should we de-roll?
Can we do that? Well, maybe you better do that now. You're right. Okay, yeah, de-roll.
I'm not your mom, I'm Elizabeth.
I'm not your husband, I'm Kenneth.
Feels strange to say I'm not your friend, but I'm Elizabeth.
I'm not your friend here. I'm your new friend, Cindy.
I'm not your stomach. I'm Joya.
Okay, right here.
I'm not your exercise, but I could be.
I'm not the part of your stomach that you let go. I'm Maria.
Next question, how much anger do you feel related to this loss? How much anger? Anger is a part of grief. It's a big part of grief. This is 100% anger, 0% anger, 50% anger.